2, 1, go!
Hello, welcome to this Electronic Eggs Extra podcast. This one we are focusing on the Atari Jaguar and why I've been wrong or also right for the past 33 years of its existence. Joining me to talk about it is a person who knows everything about the Atari Jaguar, I'm led to believe, and that's Richard Troupe.
Hello. Just I want to categorically state I do not know everything about the Atari Jaguar. I know relatively little about the Atari Jaguar, but I would probably know more than maybe most, only for the fact that I actually have one. I was daft enough to buy one and buy a lot of the games for it. So, yes, hello.
But yeah, I'm really pleased you could join us. We were going to have Tom, but unfortunately he's not able to join us tonight. As the only other Atari Jaguar fan in the world, I believe, is just you two.
There are dozens of us.
It's nearly as many as the games that were released for it as well.
I would say it's probably something similar. Yeah. I would probably put that about right. Yeah.
So let's start then with a bit of history about the console. So I will tell you the little bits that I know, and then you can just tell me everything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'll try my best.
You can then school me. So the Atari Jaguar was released in 1993 in America, and then 1994 over here.
Yeah.
Correct.
True, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
November 93, North America. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they've thought, we'll release it in America first, where our brand is probably higher, but still, no one really cared about Atari in 1993.
Yeah, do you know what? There's actually there's a bit of a contradictory thing there around it. So, Atari's footprint actually and market strength was probably actually better or more resilient in Europe at the time, off the back of the Atari ST line.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And actually, believe it or not, from all accounts, I think it was from Daryl Still, who was head of Atari Europe at the time, it said that there were actually more pre-orders in Europe for the Atari Jaguar than there were in the United States, North America, and but Atari didn't really like that idea. They wanted to get that market dominance in North America, so they rerouted essentially a lot of the stock that was destined for Europe to North America. Didn't sell the consoles, and left the pre-orders waiting in Europe. So it didn't help market confidence in Europe as a result of that. But yeah, arguably at that time, I think because Atari was failing had already failed essentially in North America. Europe was actually the strongest market, and they made a boo-boo by moving everything over to North America.
It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about that period, right? Because you have the Atari ST, you have the Amiga, you have the Jaguar, and all of these perform so much better in Europe, whereas America just clung to Nintendo and then Sega. Yeah, and that was it for them. I mean, even like PCs didn't take off there as quickly as they did in Europe either, as a gaming platform.
Yeah,
I was reading as well.
I think the really awkward thing is, I have this strange fascination around the early 90s sort of gaming history, especially because it was almost that every single manufacturer of any electronics seemed to throw their hat in the ring with a console. And I think they'd seen the rise of the likes of obviously the NES in North America was a big thing, and we were very, Europe was very microcomputer focused and computer focused. But
Yeah.
then we saw with the Master System, then the Mega Drive, then the Super Nintendo really gained a foothold. And I think that everyone wanted a slice of that pie. And gaming was cool, for want of a better word. And everyone threw their hat in the ring with a console. So not only did you have the Amiga, you had the Amiga CD32 around this time.
Yeah.
You had the 3DO. You had
You had the CDI.
CDI, yes, you had the
Yeah.
CDI. You had all sorts of other CD-based offshoots in North America. I think the Tandy VIS was
Oh
another one
yeah.
in the early 90s. And then there was, I think there was some other standard that existed. There was CDTV, of course, Commodore CDTV,
Yeah.
early 90s. So everyone was just going for it. And I think they didn't, maybe, I don't know, they didn't trust Europe because they sort of saw Europe as a computer-focused market. But it was moving towards consoles around that time, really, in my opinion,
Yeah.
from what I
No, I
could see.
agree. That's the thing. It was like the Amiga was obviously starting to tail off in like 93, 94.
Yeah,
So obviously then that's when the consoles really started to pick up. You saw a late surge with Mega Drive and Super Nintendo in Europe in sales between 93 and 94. So that's
yeah,
why we
yeah.
started getting more Super Nintendo games over here, whereas before we weren't getting as many games
Hmm.
because obviously America was getting a lot of games and we weren't getting a lot of those games. And yeah, and
Yeah.
then towards the end of that time, they did start actually releasing stuff over here, except Mario RPG for some bizarre reason. I don't understand that one. Maybe
Yeah.
Nintendo didn't want to pay for the localization of it because of all the different languages, but they still would have had to
Yeah,
have done
I'm sort of,
Spanish anyway for North America and French
yeah,
for for Canada.
it's a strange one. It was just it was a fractious market in the early 90s. I mean, yes, you had your big players, but everyone thought that they could come in and sort of steal a piece of that. But it was just there was there were too many wannabes,
Yeah,
and or pretenders, and none actually really stayed the course other than the usual. And then of course one big name did come in eventually, which I'm sure we'll get to.
yeah, the new one. Yeah, that did happen.
Yeah, yeah, the new one. Yeah, we're still
Yeah,
playing it to this day.
yeah, the vast library that the new one has.
Yeah.
But before the Atari Jaguar though, they were working on a 16-bit, maybe even a 32-bit console called the Panther, weren't
Yes.
they?
Yeah.
And that was being developed by the same people who went on to make the Jaguar. That's Flare Technology.
Yep. That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Interesting point about Flare Technologies. Obviously, as you're well aware, they were former Sinclair research engineers. Now they had some. Well, it's a really interesting, fascinating sort of history in a weird sense. If you're into like field systems like I am, now they when they worked at Sinclair Research, they were working on the cancelled Loki project, which I think was a computer slash game console project that was being developed by Sinclair. Um, it was shelved. That was technically sort of the lead up to the eventual Flare 1 system, which was being developed by, they obviously they left Sinclair and became Flare Technologies. They developed the Flare 1, which was the basis, believe it or not, for the Connex multi-system.
Oh,
Um,
really?
so yeah, yeah. So they were actually heavily involved in the design of the Connex multi-system, and that was the Flare 1 project, which was based on the Loki project of Sinclair. Um, Now, obviously, we know that the Connex multi-system was a raging success. Um, Now, Jeff Minter actually did make a game for the Connex multi-system. Um,
Yes, he did. Yeah.
yeah, but he seems to have a thing about working with field systems like the Connex multi-system, the Atari
Yeah.
Jaguar, and the new one.
Well, he was going to work on, and he was going to work on Unity, wasn't he, for the GameCube? Well, he did
Yeah, yeah,
start developing
yeah,
Unity for the
yeah.
GameCube. Not Unity, the
Um,
game engine, for any younger listeners. We're talking
no,
about this game called Unity, which would have just been another tunnel shooter from Jeff Minter.
yeah, here like a
There was
Jeff Minter
video
tunnel
footage
shooter.
of
I'm
it, and it
sold.
looked great. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Um,
unfortunately, it never came to be.
Yeah, so basically, as you said, they developed the Flare 2 system off the back of the Connex multi system, which was then purchased by Atari, and that eventually became the Jaguar. But they were as you said, they were working on the 16-bit Panther console as well around 1989. I don't know if you want to draw more on that yourself.
Yeah, well, I literally don't know much about it beyond the fact that they were working on it in 1988 and panned it in 1991. So that's all I know about it, other than the fact that it was going to be another cartridge-based system. I've seen like an unofficial render, which looks like a Jaguar.
Yeah, it's like a Jaguar mixed with a 32X. It's sort of a weird
Yes,
shape
it does
design.
look like a 32X. Yeah,
Yeah. It's yeah. I actually quite like the look of it. Based on the renders. I think it's worth noting as well though that Atari at this time I think were just clutching at anything.
mm.
They had obviously been bought over, or taken over by Jack Tramiel, and he had his sons working for him in the 80s after he left Commodore under a bit of a cloud. But you have to sort of think Atari was long out of the console game by this stage in the early, the late 80s, early 90s. I mean,
Yeah,
they
because
had
the
the
Lynx was
7800.
like, yeah, because the Lynx was 89, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
then,
the Lynx was 89, yeah.
I mean, that was dead by 1990. But yeah,
I love the Lynx. That's another one I
I'm
love,
not saying.
yeah.
Yeah, I owned a Lynx for a little bit, but I
Uh-huh.
didn't really gel with it. I quite liked Batman Returns on it.
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
the game where you're like a detective, and well, not a
Oh,
detective,
Dirty
you don't
Harry?
do any detective.
Dirty Larry, is
Is
it?
that it? Dirty Larry?
Dirty
That's
Larry,
it. Yeah,
Dirty
that was
Larry, I
quite
think it's
fun.
called, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a really good port of Stunrunner on it, and
Right.
Battle Zone as well. Battle Zone?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
I
I
think
love
Battle Zone's on it as well,
Battlezone.
yeah. And Gauntlet's very good on it. It plays actually in Tate mode, so um,
No
on the
way.
system, believe it or not.
I didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah, it
know
does.
Gauntlet was out, but I mean, this was I'm talking like young Chris playing. I wouldn't have
Yeah,
been.
yeah. Maybe you're still
But
young.
yeah, Gauntlet is one of my absolute favorite games. I adore Gauntlet so much.
Yeah, it's actually it's a good little handheld, but yeah, I mean that was a handheld system in terms of consoles,
Yeah.
home consoles. The previous one that Atari had was the 7800, which was originally designed to be released in '83. Wasn't released till like what '85 or so.
It was
Due
later than
to
that, wasn't it? I thought it was
'85,
because
'86 perhaps.
it was after the NES launch, wasn't it? Because
So '86, I think it was launched maybe.
yeah, because the
But it
NES
was meant to
launched
be released in.
85 in America, didn't it? And then
Yeah,
Atari are probably like, oh, haven't we got a game console just sitting in
yeah.
storage?
There's a whole big back and forth about that as well, to do with Tramiel not, well, apparently not paying money up front for whatever to do with the console being developed by the other company that was making it for them. The name escapes me at the minute, but they made Miss Pac-Man as well, not Namco.
Midway.
No, not Midway. It was General Computer Corporation. That's it. Made the
Okay.
7800 for them. Then, of course, the Atari Lynx was made by what do you call them?
This wasn't it.
Yeah,
Epics.
Epics. Yeah, Epics. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could argue in many ways that Atari themselves around this time, Atari Corporation to say, because it was different from Atari Games, who were the arcade version, which were actually a separate entity. But it seemed to sort of lack a bit of, they had a bit of a brain drain, and it seems in terms of engineers that were going to, in-house engineers that were making consoles, and they basically, their last home system was an 8-bit console, and then they were looking to get in the 16-bit era, and it was far too late. And then, of
Oh
course, as
yeah.
you know, as you've sort of hinted at, then the Jaguar sort of took over the Panther. But yeah, I'll let you talk about that if you want.
Well, yeah. No, the
I'm
thing.
hijacking your podcast.
Well, this is the thing. I didn't because I've always sneered at the Jaguar from afar.
Yeah,
I owned one for a brief minute in around about 2002, so quite late to the game, just because everyone kept telling me that Tempest 2000 on the Jaguar was the version to play. So
yeah,
that's why I bought one in the end. And I picked mine up for like £20, and then I think I paid like
you're lucky.
fiver or so for Tempest. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. But yeah, going back to the actual system itself. So yeah, so Flare technology. made the system. But this was the thing, I never knew that it was made in Cambridge, which is my hometown. And I'm like, how the hell did that escape me? Because my dad was very much we must support our local business. So that's why we had ZX Spectrum and we had BBC Micro, because they were Cambridge based. So yeah, I can't believe he would not known that, because he was quite clued up on technology. So
maybe he was aware of it, and even he had his limits about what he could support.
Although he loved pinball games, and there's a really good pinball game on the Atari Jaguar.
Yes, there is. Yeah, a couple of good ones actually. But yeah, it was weird. Effectively it was developed by engineers from Cambridge, and they basically became part of Atari for a while to develop this in-house system. They were being developed in tandem, I think. I think obviously the Panther started first, and then the Jaguar had kind of been undergoing development, and it just was, the pace was outstripping the Panther. So they basically just decided that we'll get a head start on the next generation, and put everything into the Jaguar.
So can I ask you one question?
Yes.
I'll probably ask you more than one question throughout the show,
That's
so
okay.
please don't just say you're only getting one. So is it actually a 64-bit console? Because I've done the math, as they told me to, and I can't figure it out.
So this is the eternal debate that people can't really settle upon. So look, I'm gonna pre-qualify this. The bitness of a system, or the bits, doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Now, you can argue that it isn't a 64-bit system because there are two 32-bit RISC processors, the Tom and Jerry, internally in the system, and a 16-bit 68,000 processor to sort of glue it all together. Now, the difference is that the Tom chip itself, the Tom chip, has two internal processors as well inside it. So it has an object and blitter processor inside it, respectively, and they're both 64-bit. And the data bus from the RAM to those the object and blitter processors is 64-bit wide. So in theory, yes, it moves around data in 64-bit chunks. So you could argue, yes, it is 64-bit, but the bitness doesn't matter. I mean, the Intellivision was 16-bit, and it was released in 79. But look at that, it's not going to stack up to the Super Nintendo.
Some of you believe your system is the most advanced in the universe. Let's review the numbers. Sega Genesis is 16 bits. 3DO is 32 bits. The Atari Jaguar is 64 bits. Which is more advanced? Clifford! With 64 bits, 3D graphics, real-world animation, and lightning speed that you can only get with Jaguar. Which is more advanced? Clifford!
Can you repeat the question?
Jaguar! Jaguar! Jaguar!
So the Jaguar, before it was even launched, Atari announced the CD add-on, which for me sounds insane to just go, oh, this thing you're getting, it's okay, but we're actually going to give it a CD add-on as well. So, it's probably not finished, is the way that seems to me, or we're not confident with what we've put out.
Yeah, but from what I understand, the CD portion of the system was meant to be at launch.
Oh, right.
As from what I understand, from what I vaguely remember, there was talk about from other much more learned people than myself around Atari Jaguar. There are the whole scholarly discussions that people have around Atari Jaguar, that is. So I think the CD add-on was meant to be developed for launch, and it got stuck in some form of development hell, and it didn't come to be.
Oh,
But you're right. I think it's mad because they announced it. It's like, this is what you can have, but not quite now. But it's coming, and it almost seems like they're self-cannibalizing their system, their cartridge sales.
Yeah, it does. That's what I mean. It's like it just seems like another bad decision.
Yeah,
to just
and
kill
look, I'll be
something
honest with
before
you.
it's even out.
I'll be honest with you. The CD add-on doesn't really actually add on anything in terms of power. It just adds a bigger storage medium. Uh, so it's slightly larger than a regular CD. I think it's like 790 or megabytes or something, which is slightly bigger than a regular CD of 700 megabytes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing it really offers extra is just
But
a bigger storage medium.
it also makes it look like a toilet
Yes, it does.
when
It
the
does.
lid is up.
It makes it look like it makes it like a toy. I love it. I actually do have a Jaguar CD. I was stupid enough to buy one. Not any time when it was cheap. I bought one a few years ago when it was expensive. So yeah, I have a toilet in my game room.
Yeah, it is a funny looking thing. I do like the fact that they've got the
Yeah.
cartridge slot at the back of it still, though. So, like, the
Yeah,
system
so I
of the
mean,
toilet is the cartridge slot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it is useful because you can obviously there is a memory track cartridge which you can use for game saves and things like that for CD games.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those, but you can also use it as a pass through for your cartridge games as well.
I was also reading that that Jeff Minter was involved with the actual development of the CD.
Yeah, yeah. So the virtual light machine.
Yeah.
Um, so when you put in an audio disc, it's a typical Jeff Minter psychedelia. Basically, it's just it's a light synthesizer or a light equalizer, if you know what I mean, in terms of other systems that do it.
Was that because he did
I
the
think
Xbox 360 one as well, didn't he?
he did. Yep, yep, he
So
did, and that was a very good one.
yeah,
It's
fantastic one.
nice to have a little bit of a background, something to look at. But yeah, only from the mind of Minter himself could that be fathomed. But yeah, he was involved in the development of that. He didn't make any games for the CD, but maybe he saw the writing on the wall by that stage.
Even he was like, "I am not making a game for that."
Yeah,
It looks like a fucking
maybe so.
toilet. Um,
I think those were that's a direct quote as well of him. Yeah.
yeah, that is a direct quote. One thing I do want to talk about is is the pad as well, Richard. What the
Uh-huh.
fuck is up with that pad?
Have you? Well, yes, you did have a Jaguar. So
Yeah,
do you know what? People do say it's the worst controller ever made, and I would
it's not.
say no, it's fucking not.
No.
It's not. Nowhere fucking near it. I actually find it's relatively comfortable. It has a shit
Well, it's not
D-pad.
bad. It's just that I don't like the fact that to get to any of the other buttons,
Mm.
you really have to stretch. And if you're a child holding that, like, you'll never get into those little buttons in the base of the pad.
Yeah, it's I've relatively large hands, and yes, if you're going from one side of the controller to the other with a thumb, it's very difficult. Now,
Yeah,
if you discount the numpad in the middle, it's effectively
I do
a
like
shape
the
of a
D-pad.
PlayStation controller. Yeah, do you like
Yeah,
it?
I do like it. I think
It's
it's a
it's
really good
okay. I
D-pad.
just think it's. You think it's really good? I think it's just
Yeah,
okay. I
I
mean,
think it's
I think the buttons are good. I mean, they're really
they're
really good
clicky.
tactile
Yeah,
buttons.
I
Yeah,
like them. Yeah,
I
yeah,
quite
yeah,
like them. But it's, as you said, it is a stretch going across. But in terms of the actual ergonomics, of just holding the pad, it's comfortable to hold. But
yeah.
moving from one end of the pad to the other with your thumb is a difficult task.
It is.
But if you take
Um,
away the numpad in the middle, it's essentially like the shape of a PlayStation controller.
when did they release the Pro Pad?
Ooh, good question, actually. I'm not sure on that. I don't have a Pro Pad.
No, I
Um,
didn't. I
I
didn't even know one existed until today. And I was like, wow, that looks actually quite
yeah.
cool because it's got the six buttons, like the Sega Mega Drive six button pad or Saturn
Yeah,
with
I
the
don't
three
I don't know
buttons on
when they
top.
released that. Um, Good question. I don't know. I know that they re-released a newer one, or sorry, a re-release of it. Not Atari themselves, but like a homebrew sort of effort through Atari Age. And it was quite popular. I didn't get it though myself at the time. I sort of thought, well, I'm not going to spend that money on a controller. I think it was working at £70 or something for a controller. Um, and I just wasn't willing to pay that for three extra buttons and a couple of shoulder buttons.
And with
But
today's
I'm not
inflation,
entirely
that's
sure.
about $2,000.
Well, no, this is only a few years ago.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So people are, they. I can't remember I don't know when they originally released them.
No, I tried to look, but I couldn't find anything. And the Pro controller came out.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it online.
I mean,
That's why.
it must have been around the time of the CD um, getting released. It must have been around that time. I mean, they were throwing so much shit at the wall at that time, so yeah,
So,
they were trying their
we'll
best.
just go. The amount of units sold on this, which is staggering to me, was less than 150,000.
Yeah,
I mean,
not a lot.
no, that makes the Wii U look like a roaring success.
The Wii U was a roaring success compared to the Jaguar, definitely.
Definitely
By
compared to the
most
Jaguar.
metrics,
Yeah.
by most metrics, the Wii U was a success. You know, I think that again, it was that sort of era. It just a lot of consoles. I mean, put it this way, I think it was the 3DO sold 3 million
Yeah.
roughly units, and it was fucking £700 or $700, whatever it was at the time. That was an expensive bit of kit. This was relatively inexpensive to buy, and it's still only shifted less than 150,000. Now, it was even less for the CD attachment, as you would know. I think it was maybe less than 10,000 or something sold potentially.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them weren't very reliable, so there's even less existing nowadays. Hence the mad prices. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Is that why the prices are so high for that? Because they are not reliable. Because I was looking at it, because because I wanted to do this episode, I did actually look at trying to do the whole Jaguar setup, and I was like, no,
uh,
that's going to cost me a fortune. I'm not
do
doing
I
that.
don't know if we'll get onto it later with regards to the games and stuff, but I have actively chosen not to buy any more Jaguar games, like secondhand Jaguar games, because of the prices. And I've started to see, and I'm not joking, I have started to see people offering to trade or swap Neo Geo collections for the Jaguar
Wow.
because of the equity of pricing, not equity of quality, but the equity in terms of pricing, or current costs. And I'm just going, they've lost their fucking minds. I say this as a Jaguar fan as well, but keep that Neo Geo collection. It's just the game prices are now are insane. The attachment, the CD attachments, crazy prices as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
they've just all lost their minds lately, and I think it's probably because of the scarcity.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the launch price, so it launched in the UK for 250 quid, and then just did a straight translation in America, which was
Yeah.
$249. So we paid more. Ours is like the equivalent of $500 that we paid for the Jaguar back then,
Yeah.
which is
I mean,
insane.
yeah. To be fair, when you compare to the likes of the 3DO, it's actually quite compelling.
It is cheaper because
It's
you're talking only £100 more than like the Super Nintendo at the time.
yeah, and you're getting 4 times the bits.
You are getting 4 times the bits. You're getting so many more
Yeah.
buttons, um,
Uh-huh.
and you're getting Club Drive. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yeah. It's crazy, but I just think that for the market and the people who are going to be buying this, really, they were sort of targeting, that coolness for the kids type of thing, that sort of teen sort of market, and they just didn't think Atari was cool.
No,
It didn't
no.
have Sonic or Mario or anything like that. It fucking Tempest. And let's be honest, it's an amazing game, but it's not shifting. It's not shifting people towards it, who aren't really aware, because they probably, if anyone was aware of it, they would just go, well, that's an old arcade game. I'm not buying that.
Yeah,
Even though it
and
was demonstrably cool.
that's the thing with like the 3DO. It tapped into a sort of older demographic, like this more maturing of gamers at the time, like PlayStation did. PlayStation tapped into like late teens, early 20s, and was like, this is where the audience is now. Whereas Atari were like, okay, so we're still going after these young kids, and not Jimmy Savile way of going after young kids, but we're gonna go after young kids in terms of their pocket money, and
Yes.
but then the best games on it are not games aimed at children.
No.
This is the thing
I
that's
think
staggering.
And look, they even then, like, yes, they sold less than 150,000 units. I mean, they sold even less in terms of games. The units sold is just, I'm hearing, like, Alien versus Predator, roughly 50 to 60,000 sales.
I read that it was
Yeah,
85,000 sales of Alien vs Predator,
85,000. Yeah. So, well,
which
to be
is
fair, it's a good
actually
attach rate.
really good attach rate, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
over 1 and 2. Atari
Yeah.
Jaguars had the game.
So, but when you start to go down the list of games, you're talking some of them are only maybe shifting 10 to 20,000
Yeah.
units, and that
See,
is piss poor.
yeah. But yeah, I was absolutely staggered by just how low the figures were for it selling, because I do remember seeing it in the shops quite a bit for a good year, and then it just sort of disappeared. So I think 95. I just didn't see it in the shops much towards the end of that year. And if I
Yeah,
did, it was
I mean,
like
I
right at the back, in this really small section, with just like 2 games or something.
you know what? I actually at the time I never saw the Atari Jaguar in any of the shops, never, and I
Did you
was
not?
massively into games, massively. Like I would have been the perfect age for it, and I never saw it anywhere. Would have seen it on the likes of maybe Games Master, and shows like that, but I never saw it properly in person in the shops. Now, I did see it. I do actually recall, not even vaguely, I do recall to this day, being in my dad's friend's house, his work colleague, and playing with the kids in the street, as you do when you're bored, and went into one of their houses, and they had this black console sitting in their bedroom. And I was like, what is that? And they went, oh, it's a Atari Jaguar. And basically said something along the lines of, it's shit. And let's go out and play football. So even the kid that had it just wasn't sold on it at all. And we must have been about 11 or 12. And I kind of wanted to play it, but then he's just like, no, don't worry. Just let's go. So even at that sort of age, he'd got that system bought for him and he just wasn't into it himself. So that's just a sample of one. But it didn't have a big footprint. He was the only person I knew that had it.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'd ever seen it properly.
I never
Until
knew
I eventually
anyone.
bought one.
I never knew anyone with an Atari Jaguar at the time. This would have been, like I said, the only time I started to know about it was when I was about 22, and I was speaking to someone who was working when I was working weekends, and he was just telling me that, yeah, he's a big gamer, and he was saying, and I said, oh, cool, what sort of games do you like? And I remember then saying to him that I really enjoyed like Jeff Minter stuff when I was a kid, and he said, "Oh, have you played Tempest 2000 on the Atari Jaguar?" And I was like, "Oh no, I've played it on the PlayStation. I love it." And he was like, "That's shit." And I was like, "Oh, hello, what?" He was like, "You need to play the Jaguar version." And and then I spoke to some other people who like who knew about the Jaguar, and like, these are people that I was like, "Where were you like 10 years ago? Are you one of the few thousand people who bought it?" And and they all said the same. You have to play Tempest 2000. So
They were right. The PlayStation and Saturn versions pale in comparison to the Jaguar version. I don't know what it is. It's I just feel there's a better. It feels nicer to control. The Jaguar feels tighter to control. And yeah, it's just a wonderful,
it doesn't
wonderful
have,
game.
but they have loading on the PlayStation version as well,
Yeah,
which doesn't help.
yeah,
Which is
doesn't
like,
help either.
yeah, that's not great. So we should probably move on to games then, because there's not a lot. So we won't need to go through them all, but we could, because there's not a lot.
Just on sort
yes.
of, sorry, just before we move on to the games, just something I wanted to bring up is that Obviously, when the Jaguar was kind of released, sort of put into perspective just about how fucked Atari were really at the time. And this is them throwing all their eggs into the basket. They had a $3 million advertising budget overall for the Atari Jaguar. I think that was global.
Oh, right.
Sony in 1995 when they released the PlayStation 1, their advertising budget just for the Christmas period of 1995 in the UK alone was £20 million. So, the $3 million advertising budget overall for the Atari Jaguar globally, and then Sony's £20 million advertising budget just for the UK alone over Christmas 1995 kind of puts it into perspective of the disparity of sort of buying or wealth and power behind it, the machine behind it. So basically, Atari was on a hiding to nowhere. Like they were not getting this going properly.
Yeah, do you think that was
So yeah,
maybe a bit of hubris to the legacy of their name more than anything? That they were just thinking, oh, that will sell it, or was it just no belief in the system?
just no money. They had no
Uh,
money. The lost ground with the Atari ST. It was already folding away against the likes of the Amiga, which was itself was going to be subsumed by the PC market. The PC market was coming in, wiping out Atari, eating its lunch. Atari had no consoles since obviously the 7800 before, really, and they just completely fallen out of the way. So I just don't think that they had nothing coming in money wise, really. And the Atari Games, which was the arcade side of the business, was a separate entity, so they couldn't even leverage their own IP on that side. So yeah, they had no money at all.
oh, right. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that bad. I just assumed it would have been hubris of them trying to trade off their name. But yeah, sad. Really
Yeah.
sad how it went for them. But yeah, so we talk about the games because we'll start first with the pack-in, right? So the
Okay.
console was originally packed in with Cybermorph, which
Yeah.
is very, very technically impressive to look at,
Yep.
especially at the time when you're looking at something like Star Fox on the Super Nintendo or
Yes.
Virtua Racing on the Mega Drive, which both were fantastic looking games and playing games. But Cybermorph was doing it and actually giving you like an actual open, I'm going to do in air quotes, open world. So you could fly in you can fly in all directions. So you can go
Yeah.
up, down, so, and it was really good. I do remember playing that at the time in
Mm-hmm.
a would it have been game? No, it wasn't Game Station. What was the
Yeah.
not Electronic
Kiosk.
Boutiques? There was
Yeah.
a kiosk, but I'm trying to think of what the name of the shop was. It was another brand
Oh,
that was around back then. I can't remember the name. It was one that was
Game Station.
no, it was a different one. Jesus, why can't I think of it?
Tandy, would
Doesn't
it?
matter. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I was playing on it
Okay.
there. I played Cybermorph there, and I thought, wow, this is actually I kind of like this more than Star Fox, just because
Yeah.
you weren't on rails and you could sort of explore this 3D world, which in 1994 blew my mind.
Yeah.
In the same way like Super
I think
Mario
it's
64 blew my mind.
yeah. I think it's easy to disparage or cast shade on Cybermorph from afar. From with the benefit of time, you look back on it and go, God. But you have to sort of view it through the lens of the time, 1994. Um, this was different. It wasn't on rails as you said. It really stood up against the likes of Star Fox in terms of tech, and it was a fully open environment that you could fly around and you could do the mission in whatever order you wanted or in any way you wanted. It was very, very impressive. No,
And it gave you
I
the
didn't play it
different
then.
height as well for your combat. So if you were
Oh yeah,
doing it,
yeah.
so that was something that was really cool as well. Whereas you weren't
Uh-huh.
following, you could turn on a reticule when you're playing it,
Yeah.
I didn't when I first played it. I played it without the reticle, and it was it was
Uh-huh.
really cool being able to sort of like trying to judge that distance in 3D and going right. Okay, I need to be at
Yeah.
this level to be able to shoot that. Which you didn't get even in Star Fox. It wasn't like that.
Uh-huh.
It was to me at the time. I was like, well, this is really cool. And that was the first time I
Yeah.
played on a Jaguar, and the only time I played on a Jaguar until like 2002. so it was quite a long way in between. But I do think
I don't know
Cybermorph
what
is
you're
actually
going
quite
to.
good. I played it again today on the Atari 50,
Yes.
and I really enjoyed it. Even
You know what?
now, I
I'm
was like,
glad
this
you
is
said
actually
that.
quite good.
I was actually going to say I didn't know what way you were going to go on it with the sort of the benefit of time. Maybe throw something else. Look, I think a lot of the people that have an issue with it, um, obviously doing it through received opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So they've watched some YouTube video that is, it's fashionable to hate on where did you learn to fly, Skylar, that green bloody floating head that fucking comes in from time to time. But when you actually play the game, it controls really, really well. And it's actually quite enjoyable. The combat or the space sort of or flying combat on it is actually quite satisfying,
yeah.
in my opinion, anyway.
I think so too, and I think it helped when I was playing. Like, I know it's not analog controls in the game, but using an analog stick made it feel
Hmm.
even better. Like
Oh, did it?
in today's game, in today's age, I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, this is actually. I was having a really good time playing it. And yeah, I was just
ooh.
thinking, well, why didn't I play more of this when I had it? Because I had it on the Jaguar, and I think because it was 2002, I wanted more than what that
Yeah,
was. Whereas if I'd played it more in 1994, I would have probably really loved that game. But like I
yeah,
say, I played it for a brief time in a kiosk and found it to be really good, but not enough for me to go, Mum, I really want an Atari Jaguar. I want children
yeah.
to laugh at me more, please. Um,
In fairness, it might have put you off gaming completely if you had a Jaguar 94. No, but I know what you mean. It is impressive, and look, I know maybe people listen to it and they maybe not give it a go because they think, oh, sure, that's just that big gaming meme that goes around and people always laugh at it. Honestly, if you have the opportunity, give it a go and just couch your experience very much in the mind, cast it back to 94, 95, and yes, it still controls well today, but for tech for that time, it was very impressive.
the voice sampling is really good as well. It's really clear and not muffled like it is on other systems. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's, for a
yeah,
cartridge-based
I
system,
agree.
really good.
I know that people will, laugh about it always shouts at, where do you learn to fly and all this. It's like, it only does that if you're deliberately flying into fucking walls. You have to really be bashing into walls constantly or, mountains or cliffs to be doing that, to have that constantly repeating. But no, it is, I am a bit of a defender on it. Actually, ironically enough, so you think Cybermorph is good, Battlemorph on CD is way better. It's the sequel,
I
and it's
didn't even know it
Jaguar
existed.
3D. It's
Really?
brilliant. Yeah, it controls even better. It looks way better. It's just a more involved game. With the combat, it's fantastic.
Oh my God, I'm looking at the screens of it now. It's really good.
Yeah, it's probably, I would argue, it's probably the best Atari Jaguar CD game, which isn't saying much. There wasn't many. There's maybe about 13 games or something released for it, but yeah, it is fantastic. It's a really good sequel. It is better than the original Cybermorph.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at some. I just had a quick look at a video of it, and it looks like it handles so much better as well.
Yeah, it's like all sharpened up there. Whatever engine they used for it, they must have sharpened it up completely. But I mean, if you think Cybermorph controls well, Battlemorph is better. And if you can't play it on, obviously, Atari 50 or whatever other means, big PMU is. I'm sure we'll talk about that later, but it's the way to play it.
Yeah, oh, just reading that the Cybermorph and Battlemorph were made in Britain.
Yep, by
Yeah,
attention to detail,
yeah.
from memory. So yeah, they were one of the first developers for the Jaguar.
That they made Roll Cage and Roll Cage 2.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there
And then
you go. I mean,
Psygnosis published.
yes, published Roll Cage.
Oh,
Now,
and
to
the
be
completely forgotten PS1 game, which was released in 2002, Firebugs, which had
folks.
Freestyler, but is it Bomb Funk MCs or something? I
Oh yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they did the soundtrack for that game, and it only came out in Europe. It's a European exclusive PlayStation game. But yeah,
Firebugs. I've never
Firebugs. It's a
heard
racing
that one.
game, but it's kind of like Roll
Ah.
Cage mixed with Wipeout. Well, I know Roll Cage is like Wipeout, right? But this is more like that, but for kids.
Yeah.
It's actually quite good.
Actually, just looking at screenshots of it now, and it actually looks great.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that was
I
the
might
same people who made
download that later.
Cybermorph. So that's
Ah.
insane. I've actually enjoyed a lot of their games.
Yeah. Yeah. They. But you know what? They wouldn't have made Roll Cage if they hadn't made Cybermorph and Battlemorph necessarily.
Exactly, yeah.
So.
And they wouldn't have made the Incredible Hulk: The Pantheon Saga on PlayStation and Saturn, which is awful.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. Yeah. No, that Firefox looks great. I'm gonna download that later.
Yeah, I really liked Firebugs when it came out. I got a demo of it. Do you remember McDonald's just did a run of demo discs for PlayStation with a Happy Meal?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which was great. You didn't have to go in and buy the Happy Meal. It was great. You could just go in and give them £2 and get the demo disc,
Uh-huh.
which is what I
Right.
did. And one of the demo discs had Firebugs on it. And I played that, and the next day when I was back in Newcastle, I went and bought the game straight away. And I was like, "That's brilliant!" And it's got Freestyler, and I was like, "Yeah, this is brilliant."
Oh, I want to stop talking about the Jaguar now and go and play Firebug. No, I'll wait. I'll wait until later. No, here that's really it's cool though to see that that thread through of that developer, sort of seeing where they were and what they went on to do. I
Yeah,
find that really interesting. But yeah, I absolutely I do love Cybermorph and especially Battlemorph.
I'm definitely going to try and check out Battlemorph now. But not gonna invest money in a CD though. I have
No,
3
don't.
toilets in my house already. Don't need another.
Yes, don't
So
need another toilet.
no,
Now I will say I did mention that Big PMU is the way to go.
yeah,
It was a sort of maybe getting sidetracked here, but for the Atari 50 collection, there were existing Jaguar emulators, but they were very patchy. They didn't have great support. Some games would glitch out. But then obviously with Atari 50, Digital Eclipse obviously put a lot of effort behind it. It's a fantastic collection. And they had a Rich Whitehouse, which is a developer. He was a developer, or is a developer, and he basically did all the work on the Jaguar emulation side for the Atari 50 collection, and then released the emulator separately. And it is fantastic, and is continuing to iterate on it to this day. It plays games. You could play Jaguar games, I think, in at least 1080p, 4K if you wanted.
wow.
I don't know why, but you can. And there are options as well, I think, for frame smoothing and
Thing is,
increasing frame rates and stuff.
well, Tempest 2000 and Battlemorph, by the look of those screenshots, would look amazing in 4K.
Yeah, yeah. It's fantastic. I think he's got 4K support within the emulator. But yeah, it is a great emulator, and I highly recommend it. That is the way to play Jaguar games if you don't want to invest the money in it itself.
So I remember this was back in the day when the console was well, it was in magazines and stuff at the time. I remember them
Uh-huh.
previewing Attack of the Mutant Penguins, and I
Yeah.
assumed that was going to be a Minter game, just
I
due to the
still to
name of
this
it.
I to this day I have a copy of the game, and I still to this day can't really work out what the fuck you're meant to do in it. It's mental.
I'm like that
The
with
premise is
the what's it called, Dino something,
Dino Dudes,
Dino Dudes. Yeah,
Evolution Dino Dudes.
yeah. I have no
Yeah,
fucking idea what I'm doing with that.
it's not a great. It's okay if you want to. It just don't. Do you know what? It's a game that's maybe better for a computer or a PC with a mouse.
Mm.
It doesn't seem to really work very well with the controller. But Attack of the Mutant Penguins is just it is something from the mind of Minter, really, when you think about it. I mean, Earth's invaded by aliens who disguise themselves as penguins. and then after monitoring nature television shows. I mean, and then like it's just you have to activate this freaking thing, whatever node or whatever it is. It's mental. It's power orbs and energizing things, and then I don't know. It's just there's more to it than that. It's insane. It is insane. But yeah, I can't wrap my head around it.
No, no, I was looking at videos of it today because I was like, oh yeah, I remember reading previews of that, and then started looking at it. I was like, I don't understand the game here, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit weird.
it is very confusing. Yeah.
So we obviously know like the big standout titles for the Atari Jaguar, which are Cybermorph because it's the launch title, but then you've got
Yep.
Alien vs Predator, which is a
Uh-huh.
fantastic game still that holds up fantastically. And it's the game that everyone said whenever they make a new game in the Aliens franchise, the benchmark is the Atari Jaguar version of Alien vs Predator.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I mean, first, I'm going to say it still here. For a start, I don't really classify it per se as a first-person shooter. I think it's more of a survival horror, a first-person survival horror, really.
Yeah, it's not fast paced like your Doom or Wolfenstein at the time. It's more
and
considered,
it
isn't
is
it? So,
it's definitely, yeah, that's a perfect word for it. It's more considered. It's fraught with tension as well throughout. And yeah, it's especially when you start going down through the the ventilation shafts.
oh yeah, that's shit scary.
it
Yeah.
it is quite scary. And I think it's a fantastic game. Now, I know some people nowadays may complain about the frame rate of it, but they were doing fully textured 3D sort of polygonal levels um, on ostensibly nothing more than 6 MB cart.
Yeah. And you look at that compared to say Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, it blows
Huh?
them out of the water with its graphics.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And its
It's like an
effects. I
evolution,
mean, the
really.
stuff when it's blowing up on screen as well, you're like, holy shit, how are they doing that? On this
Yeah,
system, that's yeah.
I think that was done by Rebellion software as well, who obviously had done Checkered Flag. Less said about that, the better. But Rebellion seemed to be the ones that were pushing the envelope with the system in terms of what it could do. Maybe we'll get onto it, but they also developed a game that wasn't quite released in the lifetime of the system, but was released after it kind of fell away,
Oh, which one
called
was that?
Skyhammer. Skyhammer.
Oh, I have heard of this. Yeah.
It's like G Police
Yeah.
on the Jaguar, and it's it's mad. It's like you can wander fully around an open city, in a like a spacecraft, in first person view, and it's 3D textured polygons throughout. It's incredible. It really is. It's a very very impressive game to look at, but you can kind of see where obviously the tech from Alien versus Predator came from, leading to that.
This is the other thing I've this another similarity with the microcomputers and specifically the Amiga and the ST is despite as well being more popular here in Europe, the developers seem to mostly be British as well for the games,
Yeah, I
which
think maybe it was just that the maybe Atari had that presence with it. Atari UK had that presence, and obviously I think maybe the development system involved Atari Falcons, Atari ST and Atari Falcons maybe.
hmm,
So they were systems that the developers knew, had relationships, I presume, with Atari. Especially from working on Atari STs. So, I think maybe that was already there, and it was maybe just maybe there were favorable rates compared to the likes of the systems that, the development systems that Nintendo perhaps had were very expensive. Same with the likes of perhaps Sega. And this was maybe a foot in the door to get a sort of console, sales. But yeah, you're right that a lot of them were UK based.
yeah, I mean obviously you've got stuff from id as well with doing Wolfenstein and stuff. But yeah, you're looking at it, and you've got loads of games coming from Britain,
Yeah.
which is
A couple of standouts
incredible.
as well from France. But yeah, I think it was just Atari's footprint in Europe was probably more respected from developers and fans than it was in North America at the time.
Yeah, because you've also you've got people like Rage as well, Rage Software as well, Bullfrog
Oh yeah,
on there.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
it's
Rage did Power Drive Rally, I think,
yes, yeah.
which is bloody amazing. Well, maybe we'll get to that, but yeah,
See,
um,
that is a game that I did look at a lot because I love rally games. I love rally
yes,
games since the Super. No, it would have been Commodore 64 at a friend's house where I played a rally game on that. I can't remember the name of it though,
uh-huh,
but I do remember playing a rally game and thinking, "Oh no, this is great." And then, like ever since, whenever I just rally games are like one of my absolute favorites, and yeah, and I have looked at lots of videos of Power Drive Rally over the years, and the whole thing of thinking, "Could I get another Jaguar?" Um, but I never got it when I had the Jaguar because I could never find a copy anywhere. And on eBay, they never came up then either. And I was like, oh my God, I just want to play this bloody rally game that I kept seeing in magazines. That looked
yeah.
incredible. But then obviously I forgot about it with the dawn of the PlayStation and Rallycross, Colin McRae, etc. So, but yeah,
Yeah, Rage did a Power Drive game for the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive. But the Power Drive Rally is a sequel, and it's much better in my opinion than those 16-bit console releases. It's got different tracks and things like that. So, it's fantastic. I've completed the game. It once it gets its hooks into you, it's a little bit like Neo Drift Out in a strange way on the Neo
oh
Geo. I don't
yeah,
know if you've played that.
it does look a lot
So it's a
like
little
it.
bit like
To be
that.
fair, yeah,
Yeah. And it's kind of got that sort of 3D sort of isometric effect, really, if I want of a better sort of phrase. Isometric would be quite right, but that sort of side on, top down view, and you get that sort of 3D effect of turning around corners. It's brilliant. It controls so well. It gets its hooks into you, and it's one of my top picks for the Jaguar itself.
yeah. There's one that I definitely do want to check out. I'm actually making a list while we're talking about games that I need to actually emulate.
Yeah, it's definitely one of them. It's
Yeah.
very, very good.
So,
But yes, back on Alien versus Predator, you were saying. I don't know if you want to raise any more about that, but I've never completed the game. I've got relatively far in it, but I think it just got too scary for me.
I'm the same. I did actually find myself getting too tense with it, and
Yeah,
just thought I can't keep doing this to myself. And yeah, I turned, and I only had the Jaguar for about a month before I flipped it because
right.
I got as much out of Tempest 2000 and Alien versus Predator as I could at that point.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I was just like, I think I'm good. I can't play Alien vs Predator anymore. And Tempest 2000, I was like, I still got the PlayStation disc, so I don't need to have this console here. Even though I know the PlayStation version is far inferior. But yeah, I
Mhm.
couldn't justify keeping it around, unfortunately. But yeah, like you, I could not finish Alien vs Predator. I know
Yeah,
Danny loves it. Alien vs Predator on the Jag as
yeah.
well.
I mean, like I can play horror games. I don't know what it is about that one. It just sort of it
No,
just
but it's the
I think it's
tension.
because it as you
Like the
yeah, it's the
tension in it,
tension.
it
Yeah,
really does raise your heart rate when you're playing it because
yeah.
it is really freaking tense. I mean, the closest game I can think of to that is Alien Isolation in terms of that tension,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Perhaps
that
not
game to
quite
me,
the same in terms of atmosphere, but the
yeah,
tension it creates, as you said, I think going through the ventilation shafts alone, oh fuck, I hate it. But they are the best ways to perhaps travel, to get to different sections and things like that.
yeah,
It's fantastic. It's just a great experience, and of course you can pick different characters to be during the game. I don't think we've mentioned that, but the Marine's still the best to control in my opinion.
yeah, definitely the Marine, then Predator, Alien. I think is the worst.
You had to be
I
like
didn't
pinpoint
have,
accurate with the tail.
yeah, exactly. I wasn't having fun with the Alien. like at all.
Uh-huh.
Predator I could find a bit of fun, but the Marine was definitely the best fun because of all the weapons that you could do. It was great. Absolutely loved that game.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I honestly, if the Jaguar and its software was cheap to get now, like that's the one, that and Tempest are the two that you just like, you have to play these. Like you just have to.
Oh yeah, they're in any top 5 list for the system. Absolutely, because they're arguably unique. Well, Alien versus Predator is unique to the system. That's not anywhere else. Tempest 2000 is available on other systems, but it's not the same. It's not
No,
as good.
it's not.
Doesn't control as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it was made with the Jaguar in mind, whereas the others were ports. They weren't made for PlayStation or Saturn.
They were afterthoughts almost.
Yeah. But yeah, there is. This is one game you're going to find weird that I've actually picked out as a game I quite liked, but I've not played the Jaguar version. However, I have watched Jaguar footage, right? And that's Dragon the Bruce Lee story. Now I had the Super Nintendo version, and I went to the Future Electronics Gaming Show in 1994 or 5 it would have been, and I saw people playing the Jaguar version of that game, and I just remember just being like, oh my god, that looks so much better than the shit I have at home. It just looked and moved.
Have you played the Jaguar version?
No, is it not great?
It's absolute dog shit.
Man, because I really loved it on Super Nintendo, and when I saw it on the Jaguar, I was like, "Oh man, that looks so good."
Do you know what? It does look very good. It's very fast and very fluid, but it is a bastard to control. And it feels that if you're going to be, sort of Bruce Lee, effectively, you would expect to be able to be, kicking ass, and it is really hard to get off the first level. Even on like the easy mode, it's almost impossible. They just kick the shit out of you.
Because I like I say, I loved the Super Nintendo version. My mum got it for me for Christmas one year because I was like really into Bruce Lee at the time, and so I just absolutely rinsed the shit out of that game, and I didn't realize that there was a superior looking version until I saw it at the Future Gaming Expo, and when I just saw it, I was like, oh my god, I can't even look at the Super Nintendo version anymore.
I tell you now, the balance of the Jaguar version is completely off. It's really, really poor. It's not well balanced in terms of the gameplay whatsoever. You better sticking with the Super Nintendo version.
That is such a shame. It really is. What are other standout games then for you?
Oh, I have a list here. So I've obviously mentioned Tempest 2000 a lot. You can't talk about the Jaguar without mentioning Doom. Now, I think interestingly is that Doom for the Jaguar is actually the lead source port as such for many other ports for consoles. It was done by John Carmack himself.
Oh, really?
But yeah. It was ported by John Carmack himself for the Jaguar, and he actually really liked the Jaguar hardware. So he developed that and developed it in a really, really quick time. He, by all accounts, I think he did it in a matter of weeks, perhaps. And he actually liked the Jaguar so much is that the contract, I think, was to do Doom for the Jaguar, and he ended up fucking about one weekend and got Wolfenstein 3D running on it as well, and says, "Here, there's Wolfenstein 3D as well. Do you want to sell that too?" And they went, "Yeah, why not?" So he ported both of the games to the Jaguar. So both are excellent. But obviously the big caveat with Doom is that there's no music during the gameplay.
Oh.
So I don't know if you've played the Jaguar version of Doom at all.
No, I haven't. No.
So there's no music whatsoever. No, there's music obviously during the menus and end of level screen, summary screen and things like that. But during the actual level during the levels themselves. There's no music. It's just the sound effects of your gun and the monsters. Now I think that was down to it was the Jerry chip, which is the other 32-bit RISC chip. I think it has the digital signal processor, the DSP. So it did sound generation and things like that, but it also did other things that chip as well. And I think it was taking too many cycles to do the music, taking too many cycles or frames out by sort of being swallowed by doing the music as well as the sound effects and other things it was doing relating to the processing of the game. So he took it out, the music, to get a better frame rate. Now, people say, well, it's not Doom if there's no music in it, and yeah, the music's integral to Doom, but I think it gives it a different atmosphere, personally. Again, it's that more tense atmosphere. But there is a new homebrew version coming up for Doom for the Jaguar called the Slayer Edition. And it's by a prolific homebrew developer who we'll probably talk about soon, called Lawrence Stavely of Reboot Games. And he has got the music of Doom running within the game on the Jaguar,
cool.
And hasn't lost any frames. So, or minimal frames have been lost. So it's running with the music on it, side by side. So yeah, there's no music on it, unfortunately, but it plays brilliantly. And to be honest with you, it's probably the best version or the best port at that time, because you had the Super Nintendo version, which required the Super Effects chip, and it was quite a feat getting on the Super Nintendo
window as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a very impressive port, but it's not a great port, if that makes sense. And then the Mega 32X, sorry, Sega Mega Drive 32X port, it sounds like it's far down whenever you're playing, and it's not great looking. A lot of Mega Drive games sound like that. Yeah, this one was particularly bad though. But they did come from the Jaguar source port, as it was deemed as the best at the time, and it wasn't really until the PlayStation version came out later that there was a faster version of Doom. But yeah, the Jaguar version's definitely up there with one of the best. In fact, even I think the Game Boy Advance version is based on the Jaguar source port.
I completely forgot it even came out on Game Boy Advance. I mean, Doom's come out on everything.
So, it has, yeah. So Doom is definitely a recommendation, along with Wolfenstein 3D. That was done by John Carmack himself, even though he's an arsehole now. But yeah, not into that. So yeah, they're two I definitely recommend, and a lot of people would recommend those as well. In terms of other games I'd recommend, Iron Soldier, where you're ostensibly a large mech, and you just go around doing mech-based missions and destroy the place and destroy other mechs. And it's slow, but that's how mech games really are, and it is really satisfying destroying buildings in all their garage shaded glory. Yeah, it's just a fantastic sort of snapshot of early 90s polygonal gaming. So I really recommend that one. Power Drive Rally we've already talked about.
Yeah.
If you love racing games, go for that. Another racing game I recommend, and people always seem to overlook it, is Super Burnout. It's basically like a super, or it's like a super hang-on.
Yeah, for the Jaguar. It is. Yeah. I
don't know if you've seen it, but
I've seen it. Yeah, because when I was looking up some of the games on this, Super Burnout was one I looked at, like a couple more videos, a bit longer than others, because I thought, this actually looks really bloody good. Like it looks like a really good 3D racing game. It's solid.
The sprite skilling's fantastic.
Yeah.
It really, really throws the sprites around, and I think that's probably down to the object or the blitter 64-bit processors. It really throws it around, and look, that was developed by demo scene coders, Amiga demo scene coders, I think, who decided to create a development arm for themselves just to make a Jaguar game, and they churned out a really, really great game. It's fantastic. It's really good to play if you like arcade racing fun on a motorbike. So I recommend that one. It's often overlooked, and the Jaguar's not well known for its racing games. In fact, a lot of them are shit. We've already talked about Checkered Flag,
Club Drive.
Club Drive. Fuck, Club Drive. I'll get onto a worst games list in a minute, but Club Drive is atrocious. And then there's that motocross one, which is, I think it was done by Tech London. But yeah, it was, oh my god. Like I think it has like a -5 frame rate, frames per
Right.
second.
Because Tech London,
It's
aren't they the
really,
people who
really
made
poor.
Brutal Football
I think
on the
so.
Amiga? I remember playing that on the Amiga.
Yes, there was actually a port of that on the Jaguar.
Yeah, is it? Oh, okay, cool.
British Sports Football is on the Jaguar, and it's very good. It's a very good port. I'd still say the Amiga is probably my favorite version to play.
Yeah.
But it is good. But yeah, they did that as well actually. So I'm trying to think, did they do anything else on? So they did. Yeah, they did Brutal Sports Football on that, and can't see if they did anything else other than that. God awful. Sorry, no, I tell that it wasn't Tech that did that. Supercross 3D was even worse. It was Tier Techs.
Okay.
You're aware of Tier Techs, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. So it is atrocious. It is awful. So it doesn't have a lot of good racing games, but the ones that it does have that I've recommended, Super Burnout and we talked about Power Drive Rally, are fantastic. They're really worth playing, in my opinion. And obviously another one I have to mention, and it's often overlooked, to be honest, is Rayman.
Yeah, because wasn't it
Rayman,
originally meant to be a Jaguar exclusive?
it
And
was,
then
yeah. It was the
yeah.
lead platform. And then I think during development they kind of saw that the PlayStation was coming and they saw what way the Jaguar was going and sort of went, I think we'll maybe develop for the PlayStation as well, hedge our bets here. And I think the PlayStation version was actually released just before the Jaguar version, maybe by a matter of weeks.
Yeah, because it came out
But
the very beginning of September, didn't it, in 1995 on
yeah,
PlayStation?
yeah. And obviously, in terms of colors, like it's all about on par, I would say. There's all different effects. There's maybe some slightly more effects on the PlayStation version, and obviously the CD music on the PlayStation is arguably better. But I really like the sort of tracker style music that they've got, or MIDI music style that they've got on the Jaguar version. And it looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful. Still, and it really showed that the Jaguar was a 2D powerhouse, really. If it stayed within its lane, I think it would have been fantastic for those types of games. But that's not the way the market was going then. But
Mm.
Rayman, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of the ones to play for the Jaguar. Don't buy a copy now. It's really expensive. Didn't
Really?
sell a lot. Oh, yeah. You're talking 2, 3, maybe £400 for a
You can
copy.
get like the PlayStation one for like 50p.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. So the Rayman's just got stupid expensive, and I luckily bought my copy before it got mad expensive. And I would just recommend don't bother. It's not worth paying that sort of money when you can play it on the PlayStation. So yeah, Rayman is definitely one that I highly recommend on it. So yeah,
so
another good game for it.
that's good. So I was also wondering, have you played? So I saw that Llamasoft were also developing a game that didn't come out, Defender 2000.
It did come out.
Did it come out in the end?
Yeah, yeah, it did. It came out. Defender 2000. Yeah. Now, what are your opinions on it?
I think it's shit. Um, I thought it was just on the Atari. Not Atari. I thought when I played it, it was like an unreleased game because it didn't feel finished. That's why I didn't
Yeah,
think it came out because it just
I have a soft spot for it, but I understand your issues with it because it seems like everything's really zoomed in.
yeah, it does. It's way too close. You've got no time to adjust to anything,
Uh,
and I just thought
my
I
my
found myself
tip,
like, how the hell has this come from Minter? Like,
So my tip for Defender 2000 when you're playing it is to not look at the main screen, but look more at the map. You know, the little map system.
Oh yeah, the little map. Yeah.
That will tell you where everything is, and you'll
Okay.
see anything that's coming to you. So that means that you can sort of flip it up and down, and it's not probably not the way it should be played, but I find that I get quite far in the game by playing it that way. Uh, and it is if you adjust your playing style in that manner, you can get quite far in the game. It becomes more enjoyable in that really sort of, oh god, this is like happy hardcore batshit insane sort of way.
Yeah.
You know, the music's really mad.
Oh, the music's.
That's why I have
I
a weird.
like the music. That's the one thing I
Yeah,
will say about it. It's great. It's just that it just, like you're saying, everything feels really tight, and I just wasn't able to get my head around the game. It just felt like
yeah,
I felt like I was really shit at games, and I'm not that
uh,
shit at arcade games. Yeah, I love, especially Defender. Defender is like an all timer. I mean, one of my favorite
yeah.
games of like the last 25 years is Resogun, for Christ, and
Oh,
that's
yeah,
Defender. And
yeah.
yeah, and I thought, oh my God, I saw this, and yeah, so I had to play it, and yeah, I just felt that it was just thought it was shit. Which is really, really depressing for me. But I might give it another
Do you
go
know what?
now that I know about the map.
I was gonna say, it's a shame that you weren't around back in the day to give that quotation could be on the box. It was shit. Do you
Shit.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to play a really like a more playable defender style game on the Jaguar, there's a game called Protector. Specifically, well, there's Protector SE Special Edition is the one I recommend, and it was released. But Protector was developed by Bethesda,
No way.
and it's yeah, it is, yeah, 100%, and by Bethesda, and it is basically Defender, and it's a more
Okay.
manageable Defender. It's more realistic in terms of, or more arcade authentic in terms of the size of your ship and the rest of the screen, and it's a very good game. I recommend it. I kind of prefer the frenetic nature of Defender 2000 personally, but if you want a more pure Defender experience, then Protector is the way forward. But it is a good game.
Okay, cool. I'm just adding this to my list. Sorry. Yeah. There's another game. I have played another game which I really didn't like. Again, I know it sounds like I'm just shitting on it. I'm not. I've been quite
Go
impressed
ahead.
with some of the stuff, and that's Missile Command 3D.
Uh, it's what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's absolutely awful. Yeah, like the 3D version that's in it. Yeah, like because you have a classic mode as well, which when I played that, I enjoyed it. Okay, then when I
Hmm.
played the 3D Missile Command, I couldn't tell you what you had to do. I know you have to shoot down missiles, um, but it's just impossible. I just couldn't get my head around it. Like with Defender 2000, I just could not understand what I'm doing in this game.
Very
Whereas I've
disorientating,
played,
isn't it?
yeah, I've played Missile Command like 1,000 times, and I like Missile Command. So obviously, as soon as I saw Missile Command 3D, I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm playing that." And I played. I'm like, "Oh my God, I never want to play that game again." I would rather set fire to my game console than ever play Missile Command 3D. It's so bad. Do
Missile
you
Command
like it?
3D. I don't like it.
Oh, good.
I think it's very disorientating. Now, from what I remember, from the conversations and research that I've done in the past, was that Missile Command 3D was developed with the Atari Jaguar virtual reality headset. It was a
Oh,
virtual reality headset being
yeah, I
developed.
remember
Were you aware
that.
of this?
Yeah, I do remember
So
seeing that in
it
magazines back in the day.
looks like it's got two big buggy fly eyes sticking out of this thing, and yeah, it was sort of designed with the head. Now it does work. The head tracking movement actually still works, believe it or not.
Okay.
If the very few people, like there's like 2 or 3 units in the world of this Atari Jaguar virtual reality headset, it does actually work the head tracking in the game. So I think it was kind of meant to be a more immersive experience in that sense, but it doesn't
Because
move at any
you
great
don't see
frame
the
rate.
whole screen, right? And you've got a 360-degree thing that you've got to shoot down. You've got a whole radius to shoot down, and you can't keep track of everything of where the missiles are coming.
It's tough. And from memory, doesn't it have like a lens flare as well?
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
So I always found it kind of obscured my view of what was coming.
yeah.
And I was like, I just want to see the fucking missiles coming, or
But
the raining down. I don't want to see this lens flare. And
the
then of
other
course it
thing
doesn't
is,
move at a great frame rate.
and the fact your missiles fire at like glacial speed, and these things are coming
Yeah.
down at astronomical speeds. So you have to shoot them as they enter your line of sight. You can't wait. You have to fire, or guess where they're going to come down and fire for you to be able to hit them. It's
Yeah,
so bad. But I can
I
imagine in
think
3D, if you're able to turn and look at everything quicker, and not in 3D, in virtual reality, if you're able to turn and look, that makes more sense, head tracking with it. That would make so much more sense than what they put out, because it's
yeah,
utterly awful. I can't
I
believe that there's
think
a game called Missile Command that I dislike.
think the problem I think a big problem though is that it doesn't move at a great frame rate. And could you imagine wearing an Atari Jaguar headset for virtual reality and it's something that doesn't move very fast and the sickness you would feel? And I think that
Yeah,
was one of the reasons why it was never formally released. Also because Atari was going in the pan, but it just wasn't feasible at the time to do it. And yeah, it was kind of shelved as a result. I think the testing sort of showed it made people ill.
yeah, yeah. I can imagine that. I'm gonna tell you another game I did play today that I really enjoyed when I was talking about pinball games, and that's Ruiner Pinball. I played that today.
Oh yeah. Do you know
That's
what?
from High Voltage Software as well.
I thought you were gonna say Pinball Fantasies.
No, because I've played
But
that elsewhere, so that's why I didn't mention that
yeah,
one. But Ruiner Pinball, I played that today on the Atari 50 collection, and I was
it's good, isn't it?
really impressed. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this is freaking brilliant. This is enough
Yeah.
to make me
I
want to go
actually,
back in time and buy a Jaguar.
you know what?
It's so
Say it
good.
quietly. I actually prefer it. I prefer it over Pinball Fantasies.
See, I've played Pinball
I
Fantasies
prefer.
for many years, but I've
Uh,
really, I it was so I played it over my lunch break and ended up taking a bit of a longer lunch break because I was just like, "No, I'm getting a higher score than that. Like that, I'm going again." And like, it's just so good. Like, it's such a the tables are really good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think obviously Pinball Fantasies seems to have obviously more of a realistic physics model. If that makes sense, it's probably more dialed in. But I just found that Ruiner Pinball had more interesting tables.
Yeah,
Um, to play, and that's why I prefer it over Pinball Fantasies on the Jaguar. When it comes to the Amiga, obviously Pinball Fantasies and Pinball Dreams, yeah, are the best. But Ruiner Pinball for me is the standout pinball game on the Jaguar.
yeah. And it's from High
And
Voltage Software again, which
yeah,
it's because they went on to do the Conduit, didn't they, on the Wii?
oh, did they?
Yeah,
Uh, well, do you know they also did the White Man Can't Jump game on the Jaguar?
that is the next point I was gonna talk about. So let's go straight on to that because I did not know this existed until I started looking up stuff about the Atari
Oh,
Jaguar.
Jesus.
I can't
The,
believe
the
they made a game based on the movie, which was released how many years ago? 3 years or so before the game came out.
Yeah, no one was asking for it. I mean,
No.
what was they became so preoccupied with, if they could, they didn't stop to think if they should type of thing,
Yeah.
and it was definitely one of those games. It's atrocious. I mean, it's not the worst game on the Jaguar. It's not. It's the frame rate is shocking. It doesn't. It's just not a good game.
So
It's
for
really not a
those
good game.
who've not played it, it's a 2-on-2 half-court basketball
Yeah.
game. So it is like
Uh-huh.
you're just playing two people against one in one net, and
Yeah.
a 2-on-2 in one net. That's what I meant to say. And it's
Yeah, with a
yeah,
3D view. Yeah.
yeah, 3D view. I watched some videos of it today. It looks so bad, and it has nothing
it's
to
not good.
do with the movie by the look of it, because there's
I think the
nothing.
characters run it.
The characters aren't there, are they?
And conversely, and related to high voltage doing that game, they also did another basketball game on the Jaguar, and
Oh,
they
right.
did a port of NBA Jam Tournament Edition,
Oh, okay.
which actually is the best. I would argue it's the best version out of any of the consoles of that era. It has a silky smooth frame rate. It's more arcade accurate over the other versions,
You're
other
talking the
ports.
16-bit ones,
Um,
or are you
yeah,
also
yeah,
talking
and
PlayStation, Saturn?
I would say PlayStation Saturn as well. It
Okay.
is fantastic. It's a really really good arcade accurate port. And it's amazing that they went from White Men Can't Jump to doing a port of NBA Jam Tournament Edition. But it's far better, and also it supports up to 4 players with the team top, the Atari Jaguar team top.
Okay. Yeah, because they don't.
So
Because yeah, it's 2 players, isn't it? On the other system, there's no multi-tap option on them.
yeah, I think it might be the only. I probably am wrong, but I think it's the only version that um has a team top or a multiplayer option more than 2 players.
Yeah, I
Essentially.
can't remember it being in the Super Nintendo or the Mega Drive one, because I had the Mega Drive one at my dad's and I had the Super Nintendo one. I don't remember seeing like a
Uh,
more than a 2-player option.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, the team tap, as far as I know, only supported 2 games, and it was that and White Men Can't Jump. So, um, yeah, not great.
No, not great at all. Especially when you got Sensible Soccer on there. That could have been a 4-player game. That would have been good.
Oh yeah, Sensible Soccer would have been great for team top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually totally forgot about that. Port of Sensible Soccer. It's great. I really enjoy that. It's a good version of the game. I still think the Amiga version is probably the best, but it's a serviceable port. I actually think a better football game on that system is oh god, of not Bureau Sports Football. What do you call it? The name
It's
escapes me now.
Fever Pitch.
Pitch soccer. Yeah, I think it suits the system better. Um, what it's doing. I actually quite like the port of Fever Pitch Soccer on the Jaguar. I'm strange. So
Yeah, I've not played Fever Pitch Soccer in any of its incarnations, but
yeah,
I have. I've seen it. But yeah, it's not one that I got to play. I did play also Trevor McFur
oh
in the
fuck.
Crescent Galaxy today.
Oh no, no, no. That was one of the launch games as well.
Was it? Oh man,
It was that and Cybermorph were your 2 launch games, and why the fuck did they release that game? It is.
it's
I don't
really
know why you liked it.
shit shooter.
Yeah,
Like it's really
it's
shit,
awful.
and it's
It's not
like there's no
finished.
music. Like, how
There's
is there no
no.
music
I
when
don't
you're
see.
in a
I
side-scrolling shooter?
I think with the likes of Doom, I can kind of understand why it was difficult to implement the music. With obviously tune up cycles in the DSP, but there's no excuse. It wasn't finished. I think it was something along the lines. There's a really good resource for a lot of Jaguar games in a podcast form, and it's definitely not me talking in this podcast, but it's the Atari Jaguar Game by Game podcast by a guy called Shinto, and he
Okay.
really really deep dives on the research on a lot of these things. He goes into deep sources for things, and I think I remember this is many years ago him mentioning that the game wasn't quite finished. I know, shocker,
Yeah.
and it was shipped out the door. Because the later levels, it just seems like there's no real, it doesn't even get any real design concept throughout.
Well, that's what I was going to
It's
say.
just
So when I was playing it today, I played a couple of, because you select a moon and you start on those moons and you move through the level. For those who haven't played it, it's like you can just choose whichever level you want to start on. And I played a few thinking, okay, maybe that one just had really off collision detection. And then every single one of them have really off collision detection. But worse than that is it gives you no time to get out of the way of anything. Like, not projectiles, but I'm talking about stuff that just appears on the screen. And you're like,
Yeah, just sort of
it's
just
just so
upon you straight
unfair.
away.
Yeah. It's like the
And
most
your
unfair game I've ever played like that.
sprite's quite large as well.
Yeah, it is. It's a big sprite. But the thing is, the collision detection on that sprite is tiny. Like, you can't go near anything, and you just blow up. You're like, oh my god, it's unfair. Like, it's such an unfair game. And the fact that sometimes you can forgive a horizontal shooter if it's got a banging soundtrack, right?
Yeah, it has
You can
nothing.
play it and you're like, great soundtrack. I'm going to play this. Same with like Defender 2000. Yeah, I didn't like it, the gameplay, but I love the music, so I will happily play it again and give it another go. I'm never playing this again either. Like Trevor McFur. If it had a banging soundtrack, I might give it another go. But it's so shit.
Yeah, it has nothing. I mean, it made me feel like furries. The characters
but you don't even see them
maybe...
because you're in a spaceship.
Yeah, it's you only see them in the menus, really.
Yeah.
It's a poor game. It's a poor concept, poor design, shit implementation. It's
But I was looking into
atrocious.
people who behind it, and like some of the games the developers worked on, brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's a case of being rushed out the door. I know there were a few issues with Atari at the time who were maybe withholding money from developers and things like that because they didn't have money themselves, and then being really, really poor with agreeing on designs and things like that, and mandating certain things to go in. Yeah, I don't know exactly in that story. I can't quite remember, but it could have been a factor in it.
Yeah. Well, I was also reading that they wanted Trevor McFur to be the mascot for Atari Jaguar.
Yes, I remember that. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think I maybe put it into my hole in my head. It was like, let's just forget about that.
But then when you see the box art for it, you're like, no kid is going to look at that Jaguar and think, not the Atari Jaguar, I'm talking about Trevor McFur, and think, that is a cool design of a character right there. Iconic. It's the most bog standard Jaguar you can get, with a guy like wearing like a football jersey, not football jersey, a football, like what are they called in America? Those like the jackets they wear, all the footballers.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah, like the Letterman jackets.
Yes, that's it, Letterman jackets. Thank you. Yeah, that's what he's wearing. And he just looks. It's the worst design I've ever seen for what they wanted to be a mascot.
Do you know what it looks like? Maybe I'm wrong on this, but it looks like one of those really dodgy Asian like bootleg games.
Oh, it does. It doesn't look like it should be a real game.
No, it really looks atrocious, and
it plays like it's not a real game as well. Yeah, and
it doesn't play like a real game either.
And they've got this. So people, if you haven't seen the box art for this, do look it up, because you will then see what we mean. But also to further cement its thing of this is a bootleg, it's got this really bad font, like with two-tone silver for Trevor McFur, and then it's like and then Present Galaxy is like far down the page, like far down the box. Not like it's like directly under it, so you'd think it's that. You just think Trevor McFur and then you have to look for where he is. You're like, where is he in? Oh, Crescent Galaxy. Yeah. Right. Okay.
It's like it really gives off that that piss take me. Graphic design is my passion. Just there were choices made and none of them were good. I think if I was concussed severely and was blind, I think I'd probably come up with something better than that. It's really, really bad. It's atrocious looking, and it's comical.
It is. It looks like something AI would come up with now if you asked it to do a cover of a game from the 90s.
It's exactly it, yeah. Come up with a shit game from the 90s, and that was exactly what it would come up with.
Yeah.
It's not a good game.
It's not a good game at all. We have shat on Club Drive
Yeah,
before.
Trevor McFur was on my worst games list, as well as White Men Can't Jump, Club Drive, Checkered Flag. I did have one more on my worst games list.
Yeah, go for it.
Double Dragon 5.
I was going to ask if you'd played that because I saw that was on here.
Fucking awful. So it was basically Double Dragon is a one-on-one fighter, and obviously trying to ape the likes of Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, etc. at the time, and it plays like neither of those games. It basically it controls awfully. There's no rhyme or reason to what you're doing in it. It doesn't feel like it's responsive, and it's not down to the gamepad. It's just the way it's been made. And it, also, whenever you're fighting the other character, like you'd often more times than enough get a timeout. Your time would run out sooner than you would actually take all the energy off your opponent, because the damage is very minimal. You take off your opponent, it is just a slog.
It is. It's shit. I've played the Super Nintendo version, and that is terrible as well. But it's got nothing to do with Technos, because they had no involvement in it. So Technos went on and made a proper one-on-one fighter, which was really good on the Neo Geo, based off of the Double Dragon movie characters.
Right. I've not played that one actually.
It's really good. It's literally like it's not got like the sprite. It's not got like the digitized actors in like Street Fighter, the movie.
Right.
Street Fighter, the game of no, Street Fighter, the movie, the game. That's the full title of that one, isn't it?
Yes.
But yes, it's just called Double Dragon. It's on Neo Geo, and it's a fantastic one-on-one fighting game.
I actually noticed here that the Double Dragon 5 Shadow Falls on the Jaguar was done by Williams.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's what's listed.
You think Williams, as an arcade company, would know better than that?
Maybe they were told it was going to be a pinball game, and I don't know. Fucking plays like a pinball game. It's maybe a one-on-one fighter. It's not good. It is avoid. It's one I had the opportunity to buy really cheap a number of years ago, and I said no, I'll probably get it down the line, and I still can't bring myself to buy it. I would just sit on the shelf. I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't touch it. It's not good at all. But that was the one that really stood out to me as being atrocious.
Yeah, I hated it on Super Nintendo, so I was going to ask how it was on Jaguar, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Of course.
So you were talking about homebrew earlier as well, because I know that the homebrew scene on Jaguar is actually really, really vibrant, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's so basically the Atari Jaguar has been basically open source, so to speak, or in the public domain since 1999, because through various mergers and acquisitions and etc. Atari and its IP got basically bought up by Hasbro, and they kind of went, well, there's no value to the Atari Jaguar, to a lot of the Atari IP, and they got rid of the Atari Jaguar stuff, just put it in the public domain, and then the homebrew developers just kind of jumped on it and started seeing what the system could do, because it's never really had a realized potential. Still to this day, it doesn't have a fully realized potential, but the homebrew scene on it is very, very vibrant, very active, and it has a dedicated fan base of dozens of us. But no, I would say that the homebrew scene is very, very healthy, and it's down to a few main developers really. One of them is a chap called Lawrence Stavely. He's from the UK, but he lives in Australia, as far as I know, and his sort of development arm is Reboot Games, and he's probably one of the most prolific homebrew developers or indie developers for the system. So his original games that he's done, of note for me personally, one of them's Rebooteroids. So Rebooteroids is like, it's like if not quite like a Minter version of Asteroids, but sort of Minter adjacent, but not quite as crazy with all the effects. But it's a very, very good version of Asteroids, and it's basically clear screen and you move on to a new level, and it has like different like patterns and waves that you have to avoid and then blow up and stuff. And it's a real high score chasing game. If you enjoy high score chasing with a pretty good banging soundtrack, that's the one to play. It's very, very good. He also did a game called Last Strike, which is like a shoot 'em up, a level based shoot 'em up, scrolling shoot 'em up, and it's very enjoyable to play. Uh, Balls hard, very, very hard though, in my opinion. Um, Gravitic Minds is another one that he did recently, where it's kind of like a I'm trying to think, like Lunar Lander,
Yeah.
bit like that, but
Okay.
you're doing like various mission based things. Um, sort of you're trying to land on certain platforms, blow up certain things, and then rescue certain people, and then take off from the planet again. It's very good, very, very enjoyable. I basically, as soon as I got that cartridge, I got it finished within a week.
Okay.
High score chasing as well.
And
And sorry, go ahead.
sorry, do they? So does he release these like properly on cartridge as well?
Yeah, yeah. So they're
Oh,
often actually released through Atari Age. Um, so the website Atari Age, which is now owned by Atari. It was just a fan site, now it's owned by
yeah, I
Atari
saw that they
themselves.
bought
They
them.
resurgent Atari. So yes, he releases them on cartridge with full boxes, manuals, the works, loads of little feelies as well in them, some of them, and yeah, very, very good value for money. Really high quality production value. And then his most recent game, as far as I'm aware, was Jumping at Shadows, which is more of a puzzle platformer involving a robot on a post-apocalyptic sort of planet. And it's very good. Lots of atmosphere and just a very, very well designed game, with lots of replay value. Sort of going back into it, and you've certain gates to unlock with so many collectibles or gems or whatever to get the next gate open and stuff. And yeah, it's very, very good. So I highly recommend any of the reboot games stuff. And then I don't know if you're aware, there's a game called Tenebra, or it's like a monochrome black and white puzzle game. But it got
Oh,
the whole collection released on a Jaguar cart as well recently, which is very good. Now it's usually on the 8-bit platforms, like the likes of your C64s, your Spectrums and stuff, and it's on the Amiga as well. But they did a port for the Jaguar, and I had to get that one as well. It's good. And then another developer called Phobos. It was released through Songbird Productions, which is a prolific publisher alongside Atari Age, of Jaguar games, amongst others. But a game called Asteroid. So it looks like asteroid, but it's Asteroid. And
okay.
basically it's a Metroid game
Oh, okay. I'm
uh,
listening.
on on the Jaguar. Now it's not as polished in terms of controls as a Metroid game, obviously, but it's a very playable game, and it's very well designed in terms of upskilling your abilities, then unlocking new areas through your new abilities. And it's if you like to 100% a Metroid style game, it's a great game to play on the platform. And it was a welcome addition, as that's not a game that we had before on the platform. So yeah, I highly
Yeah, no,
recommend that one.
I'm interested in that one, definitely. That sounds
Yeah.
ideal.
Yeah, I mean, again, qualified is the fact it's not going to be quite as well designed in terms of controls as say a Metroid game itself, but it's very, very good for a one-man development team.
It's okay, I played Metroid
And it's
Fusion. It's fine. Um,
I can't bring
so
myself
that's
to
just
buy it
for
right
I
now.
know that there are some real Metroid Fusion fans who listen, so I wanted to throw shade there.
Yeah. Now, in terms of other ones that are upcoming, there are other games as well. There's some not so good homebrew games, but we don't talk about those. But there are a couple of ones that are upcoming. So I did mention earlier about the Doom Slayer edition, which is going to be Doom with the music. It has been ongoing for a couple of years now, and it's been sort of paused, but it's by Reboot Games again. So it's imminent as far as I'm aware. Still some things to do on it, but it will be released soon as far as I'm aware. And there's someone actually doing a Mortal Kombat port but it's like an arcade port. So it's basically as close to the arcade as it can be. And it's being sorted out, and there actually is you can follow along on YouTube. The guy does quite an extensive and really well produced sort of series of videos showing the iterative process of creating the port and what he had to do to get to certain stages of it. So yeah, it's coming up soon as well.
That actually sounds really cool. Like just to know that you're going to get like these versions of games that should have been on, like obviously Mortal Kombat should have been on Atari Jaguar back in the day. It's like it seems like an obvious
it was
game
rumored to be released, and it never came. There was talk about it. I mean, there's a whole massive list of announced games that never were released. Didn't see it on it, but I remember there was talk about it being feasible on it.
I mean, if they got NBA Jam on there as well, I mean, should have been possible.
I mean, it should have been possible as well. Yeah, and we never got it. And now, the homebrew scene is very active, and I am doing a very big disservice to it because I haven't really covered a lot of it. Now, there's a lot of effort in terms of porting Atari ST games to the Jaguar. Now, I'm going to offend some people, and I don't want to disrespect the people that are involved in that porting process, but I'm an Amiga man at heart, and it's just a poorer version of an Amiga game, really. Now, they do tend to enhance quite a few of the games where possible. I think Wings of Death was a recent one, so shoot 'em up. And it got a port to the Jaguar from the Atari ST, but they've obviously upscaled the visuals slightly, or fixed the frame rate issues and made it much nicer to play. And there's a whole list of those that you can play for free on the Jaguar if you have a Jaguar Game Drive cart, which is like their version of an EverDrive, which is a fantastic device to have.
Sounds like the best, cheapest option.
It's brilliant. Now, the CD compatibility is not amazing for the cart. It does play CD games, but a couple of the CD games do tend to skip a little bit. But the ones you want to play. So it's worth playing.
What are the CD games that you would actually want to play? Because we haven't touched on that. Out of all 13 of the CD games,
I think it was 13 games, yeah. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games, I think it was. So, so the ones that you want to play, I did mention Battlemorph.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Worth playing. Iron Soldier 2. So you're getting more mech action. And Primal Rage, if you want a one-on-one fighter, Primal Rage is on it. And it's quite enjoyable to play if you want to see creatures or monsters or dinosaurs farting on each other in all its glory. It's actually quite a enjoyable game to play on it. Beyond that, I mean, it has Dragon's Lair on it, Space Ace. I'm not really a fan of those games.
Games, are they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's just quick time events just thrown into a video, really. There is one game that I did say that doesn't have a great selection of racing games. There is one game that's quite serviceable on the CD, Jaguar CD, and in my opinion, it's World Tour Racing. So it's more like a Formula One style racing game, and it was done by Tech. So the frame rate's not great. Okay, you're probably talking about 12 to 15, well, maybe 15 frames a second, maybe up to 20 frames a second, which isn't great. But for the time of the 90s, if you got that sort of 3D game running like that, you'd be more than happy, and it plays quite well. They've sort of adjusted the controls to kind of match it's not broken to play, if you know what I mean. It's very playable, and it's quite nice. It's got texture mapped 3D in a racing game, and it looks lovely to play. It is quite nice to play as a game, so I do recommend that one if you so happen to get the opportunity to play it.
Cool. What about the game called Baldies? Is that any good?
Baldies, I actually have that, and I don't think I've ever properly played it. So, so it's like a strategy game, real-time strategy from memory. But I'm not I don't know, it sort of puts me in mind of a bit like Settlers or something. Um, but I can't say I've ever really played it because I'm not a big fan of that type of game, personally.
Yeah, I am a big fan. That's
Um,
why I was asking about it, because I was like, oh, I wonder if that's any good. Because yeah, I looked at it and I
I
thought,
think
oh, that
it's
does look a bit like Populous or something. So I was like, or Megalomania.
yeah. I mean, it's on the PlayStation as well,
I did not know it was
the
on
Sega
PlayStation
Saturn
as well.
and PC.
I've never heard of this
So
game until I was researching for this.
I mean, it gets middling scores. Looking at it here, it did get a few 8 out of 10s, but most of them are sitting around the 6.5, 7 out of 10 sort of scores. So I would say it's probably worth playing. But look, well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all that, and it could be the best game you ever play.
Okay.
Not necessarily related to what the critics think. I
Well,
mean,
I know why
flipping
I
hell,
never
if I
played it
listen
on
to the
PlayStation. Came out in
right.
2003.
Oh Jesus, that's late.
And the Sega
That's
Saturn
very late for the
version didn't come
PlayStation.
out other than in Japan in 1998.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
I've
it
seen it
was
here now actually.
Saturn. It was Jaguar first,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah.
didn't it got a release on PC in like a year later. So, but yeah, I'd
Yeah.
never heard of this, but it doesn't look too bad actually.
It looks a game though that you would kind of want a
Mouse.
mouse to play,
Yeah.
and I just don't know if it's going to be nice to play. Maybe it is a great game to play. It's just never one I've really actually got stuck into. And I have a copy of it as well, and I've just never really opened it because I've always looked at it and went, 'cause I think I actually got it with my Jaguar CD, and it wasn't something I went out of my way to buy, and I just never really, thought about playing it, to be honest with you. But now I mean, I feel like I have to now.
So it's from a company called Creative Edge Software, also known as Edgies, and they were founded in Edinburgh in
Ah,
1989.
right.
So yeah, I
Okay.
was going to say it sounds like a very British name for a game to call it
Yeah, I
Baldies.
don't think they did anything else either for the Jaguar.
Doesn't
So
look like it, no.
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 Well, then again, they released
Oh,
quite late on it.
do you know who one of the producers of this game was?
Oh,
Vince Zampella, the
ah,
recently deceased head of Respawn.
yeah, yeah, flipping heck. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's the thing. You end up going down rabbit holes, sort of looking at who's involved with each company and then go, what did they go on to do? You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, I know that is interesting. Actually, I had no idea. Um, I was thinking there, in terms of the other CD games, yeah, avoid Highlander. It's not great. It's like tank controls. It has its fans, but it's not great. And then
Is it not a hack and
yeah,
slash?
it's like an action adventure game.
Oh, why isn't it just a hack and slash?
It should have been a hack and slash.
Yeah.
There was a hack and slash game that was in development for the Jaguar, and it never got released. And if you see like the footage of it, you go, "Oh, that should have been released. That looks amazing." And I can't remember the bloody name of it. Um, but you'd find all this stuff on gamesthatweren't.com. Uh, that'll have a full. I don't know if you know that website, but
Yeah,
it's fantastic. It has
I do
a
like going there and
verse
reading a
arch.
lot of stuff about
Yeah,
why
and you sort
games
of
are
think
cancelled and yeah.
why if only it was released, but I can't remember the blooming name of it. And but I'm going to stay awake tonight unless I find out what that game's called. But it is a very very impressive like hack and slash game, and like it looks almost like a Neo Geo type game in many ways.
Oh
Um,
wow,
big
that's cool.
sprites.
Yeah, I
Um,
love Neo Geo sprites. Good.
and then obviously, the arch filler of Atari are in that time on the market. So I just think they went, yeah, we're not going to bother with this. There's no pathway or future for this. But you do see the list of announced games for the system, and that were never released. It is quite sad, really. There's quite a few there you would look at and go, yeah, that would be quite good. And it never was to be, unfortunately. But
That is a
yeah,
shame.
yeah. But yeah, there's plenty of games worth playing still, and I don't know if there's any others you want to talk about, and that maybe tickle your
Well,
fancy.
no, I mean, I think we've covered all the ones that I was looking at today that I was wanting to ask you about.
Uh-huh.
But there was one game which I did see that was a cancel game on it, and that was AC/DC Defenders of Metal. And I was like, and it's a
AC/DC Defenders.
scrolling, it's a scrolling fighting game. Well, it was meant
Never
to
heard of
be.
that one.
Yeah.
Defenders of Metal.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this
AC/DC,
actually.
based on the band AC/DC.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And yeah, apparently that was in development in 1994. So,
Ah, I had no idea. I'm trying to find screenshots of it here, but they seem to be
yeah.
broken links. Flipping heck. I had no idea. That would be an interesting concept.
But there was also meant. I remember also saying that Akira was announced for the Atari Jaguar, but never came out as well.
I don't think I had an opportunity. I had a real chance of being a success in any system that was announced or released for. I mean, we ended up with only the CD32 game, and it's fucking god awful.
Yeah.
But
It
the
might
Mega
have been
Drive one
that
looks
version,
pretty good.
That version was probably the one that
Oh,
was going to come out on the Jag, let's be honest.
oh no, no, don't need that one. It's awful. I mean, the best thing about that game on the CD32 is the opening, the intro,
Oh, yeah, it's a
because you
great
think,
intro.
wow, this is going to be it's going to be amazing, and then you start playing and go, oh,
It's
Christ, what have they done?
so insane that it is the year 2026 and no one has made a real Akira game. Like the most
Yeah,
ripe anime to ever exist for a video game to be adapted to. Right? It just
yeah. It
makes no
it
sense.
amazes me. It amazes me that there's been nothing developed for it. For like a really good game. I mean, it lent itself so well. It really would, and we never got anything
But you can
that was
just
worth playing.
imagine it being like a Super Famicom game, right? Where it's like an RPG mixed with like motorcycle action and some hack and slash in there, like mix up the gameplay a bit, and so it's not tied to one genre. And I can't understand how no one ever got it uh, out there. Like nobody.
Just, I think
The
it's
one that
just
comes out is absolute shit and isn't like just has no bearing on the film whatsoever. It's
yeah,
so weird.
it is really disappointing. I guess one of the biggest crimes of gaming, in my personal opinion. It's like, it really demanded such a great game somewhere.
Yeah,
Even a really good action beat 'em up or a platformer or something that tied it in like, like a just something really well designed, and it never got it. Yeah,
yeah.
it's awful that it never happened. Sorry, so some notable games that never were released. One of them was Death Watch, and it was by Data Design Interactive, um, and it looks like a Rayman type game.
Oh
It's
yeah,
really, really beautiful looking from the screenshots. And unfortunately, it was never released. But it's very, very vibrant. And it looks like it was an interesting concept, like an action platformer. But unfortunately, we never got it. And the reason why I bring it up is because I'm trying to find out what this bloody other game is that was the hack and slash or the side scrolling beat 'em up. Um, because I will not sleep tonight unless I know what it is. Uh, but yeah, there was so much unrealized potential with the system, but it fell victim obviously to Atari's hubris and lack of money, and obviously the onset of the PlayStation really really killed it. Um, when it came out, it was just that was it. There was no coming back from it.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, at the time, the PlayStation just cleaned house. Like
yeah.
in a way you hadn't seen before, for something just to come in and just be like ubiquitous. Like you can say, oh, the NES, but the NES wasn't ubiquitous worldwide. Okay, PlayStation was ubiquitous with video games everywhere. And how are you going to
Yeah,
compete
it
with that when
was
you've got? It's just not going to happen.
just tapped into a certain time. I mean, at that sort of stage, I was born in '86, so I would have been, sort of coming in, that sort of stage of out of my early, out of my childhood, sort of towards teenage years.
Yeah,
And you want to be cool. You want to be cool. And this just sort of tapped the right time. And it grew up with gaming, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Um, and I just think that Atari was, I don't know, it was kind of a pastiche of what cool should be. And it never quite hit the right mark, and it didn't have the real support behind it. Actually, interestingly, relating to that, so you could obviously tell that Sam Tramiel, who was Jack Tramiel's son, he had three sons working for him, sort of taking over the business at Atari at the time. And he said in Next Generation magazine in 1995, this is a, Chemical Ali sort of moment, like everything's fine, everything's fine. It's really not. But he said that in 1995 in Next Generation magazine that the Jaguar was at least as powerful as the newly launched Saturn, but slightly weaker than the upcoming PlayStation. Just slightly weaker. It was at least as powerful, if not more so, than the newly launched Saturn. In 1995, he said that. Oh dear.
Oh God,
It wasn't
yeah,
true.
it was
I
not
mean, I'm
true.
certain, in certain ways, maybe it could push certain things around if it kept a certain strength, but in terms of raw 3D pushing polygons power, no. And the 64 bits, people did the math and they just worked out that it wasn't worth sticking with, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad, and like I say, doing like research on this, I have grown to have a begrudging affection toward it now, and a curiosity for
Yeah.
it, which I haven't had. All I know is I played two games on it back. I played Cybermorph in the shop and I enjoyed it, but then I played two games later in life, and I was like, yeah, it's decent enough. But I just was like, everything else on it is utter shit. Is all I could think of. But having played a couple of things recently and thinking, oh, these are actually quite good, and seeing some videos of games that actually look really good and I really want to play. Yeah, I mean, I've come around a little bit. Like I say, it's now got a begrudging acceptance and curiosity from me. So that's a big 180, really.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, it is the butt of many jokes, and I understand it because so where the Jaguar is shit, it's very shit.
Yeah,
There's no arguing that. Um, but where it's good, it is fantastic. It really is, and I think it gets a really really bad rap, unfairly so. Because it's been memed to death. Obviously due to certain personalities on the internet. That use it for sort of clickbaity, let's poke fun at it. And that's fine, they can do that, and it's grand. There's some of the games are awful and they're funny. They're so bad they are funny. Club Drive, especially. But where it's strong, it is fantastic. It has a really, really small but solid library of games where it matters. And if you've never explored it before, you sort of thought, oh, it's just all shit. Just gotta go. Get the big PMU on the go, download a few games, and just give it a whirl. Some of the games that we talked about, absolutely. We're worth having a go at, and I guarantee you will come away with some enjoyment from it. I like the lesser explored sort of frontier of games, especially from that era of the '90s. And I think there's still it's a treasure trove of things worth discovering. There's fun to be found in every malign system, in my opinion, even the CDI. Um, and you know what? I'll always maintain this. It's the best 64-bit system of the '90s. So
um,
if anyone knows me, they know that I have a irrational hatred of the N64. So
So
And I love Nintendo as well.
Yeah, this thing, I'm not a massive Nintendo 64 fan either, but I am a Nintendo fan. But I do think the Nintendo 64 is something. It is something.
It's something.
Yeah.
There was a decision. There was a choice made. Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't all good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But I think this has been actually very educational as well. I've really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for your time, Richard.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure to talk about the Jaguar. Someone actually wanted to listen to me.
No, it's great. Just like I say, I know 2 Jaguar fans, and that's you and Tom. So I had to get you on to talk about Jaguar because, like I say, I have seen lots of things that you've posted online about Jaguar, and I've gone, yeah, okay. Well, that's the sort of thing that gets me to sort of take it more seriously than I did. And especially when I talked to Tom and his passion for it as well. It's yeah.
I think it has a dedicated fan base, and I don't know whether it's just people want to swim against the current, but I think when you get engaged with some of the library and you explore it a bit more, you can really see the merits in some of it. We're not just being contradictory for the sake of it. There is a lot of fun to be found in the library, even in the bad games. But the good games need to be celebrated more, because those teams and those games, they led on to better things as well. Arguably, it's part of gaming history still. Yeah. You can't have the good all the time. You have to have some of the followaways too to explore and talk about, because they were part of that whole landscape at the time that shaped what gaming is now.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, thank you so much again, Richard. And do you have anything you want to pimp or anything?
No, not at all. Just if you're any time in Belfast in Northern Ireland, try and get down to a base arcade event. I help the guys out there with their consoles and computers. I kind of get all that stuff up and running, including the Jaguar from time to time. I foist it on the people at the arcade for them to play, and it's on once a month usually. The arcade for a whole weekend. So get tickets and get on the base arcade website. Just look it up on all the socials. You'll find it.
Excellent. Awesome. So thanks everyone for listening. Hope you enjoyed that, and catch you next time.